a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
It is a pleasure to extend my greetings to everyone gathered for the 22nd Annual All People's Breakfast.
Paul and Silas, bound in jail, had no money for to go their bail. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize.
Thanks to the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the person who's going to make this day an awfully memorable day, Mr. Michael Bernard Gaulden.
Ever since I can remember, I have been a slave of the world. I have been whipped and punished. Every time a glimmer of light has shone through my horizons. Why? Because from June of 1998 through July of 2009, my family was oppressed by homelessness. Most people in the world see homelessness as a permanent handicap or an unfortunate disability. But I have used the circumstances of my world as a fuel for my success. Before I was emancipated, and before the wind blew on this free man, I was just a humble, tormented child. Every time I felt there was nowhere to go but up, I fell down even further. Multiple times I stood on the sidewalk with a single suitcase in my hand and a single question in my head. That question was always, where am I going? It seemed like the answer every time was nowhere. I slept beside the same people you see aimlessly wandering the city. Now, even beside those same people you see sleeping under the lonely night sky. Yet when I see those people now, I see myself. We were laughed at together. We were persecuted together. We cried together. Looking back, I realized that these tears were my constrained ambitions leaking through my eyes. Mine eyes have seen freedom deprived. I saw the friends are being gunned down. Both my father and my grandfather were sentenced to life in prison, and my great-grandfather was violently murdered. My forefathers in sinful footsteps have forever plagued my family, and no one is ever supposed to escape that fate. But I deny that fate. They call this at-risk youth, and with each generation the risk becomes even greater the more kids not even have school. But where does that risk stop? It stops with me. While homeless, as my family traveled across the United States along our own underground railroad, we never knew how far away freedom was, or how horrible the path would be. But seeking higher education was always my Harriet Tubman. And I stayed at her side by always keeping my overall GPA above the 3.0, even while completing all of my homework from the discomfort of a broken down core. Although I had to eat in that car, sleep in that car, bathe in that car, and then wake up and do it all over again, most of my teachers only cared about the work that they assigned. To them, I either did the work and was a good student, or I did not and I was a bad actor. They did not care whether I had to study in the twilight of the night, or to solely the light that gleamed from my eyes. They said no excuses. So even though it was nearly impossible at times, I did the work. I gave them no excuse. My measure is, I refuse to be homeless again. Furthermore, I refuse to sit around and watch those who I care about cry and hunger anymore. And I refuse to let my future children ever experience my childhood. And I make sure that my actions support my mindset. I participated in a counseling internship at the minor school and won the communications at the San Diego Workers Partnership. I'm also enrolled in San Diego High School of Business, where I've taken courses which have been essential for me to learn how to become an entrepreneur and one day help the battle to abolish homelessness. Although I was born that rich, although I was homeless for most of my life, and have lived under some of the worst conditions imaginable, I have never used the circumstances of my world as an excuse to limit my dreams and aspirations. Instead of dropping out of school, committing crimes, or failing in life, I'm using the homelessness of my past as a primary reason for the success of my future. And while it may be true I was born at risk under extreme bondage with homelessness as my oppressor, I am determined to march to college this fall as a free man. Thank you.
And all will count. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Well, the only chance we can stand.
Michael, you just spoke in front of the largest crowd that you've ever seen before. How did you feel about their response?
Well, they embraced my story. They understood. They welcomed me with open arms. I appreciate the opportunity for them letting me come and share my story, and I hope I paved the way for other reality changers to do the same next year.
What were your reactions to Michael Gaulden's speech?
I thought he was absolutely fantastic. What an inspiration to everyone. I thought his speech was one of the most moving today.
Inspiring.
Really touching.
Anything was really empowering to everyone there, I feel.
Yeah. I think it's just important to live your own dream, and Michael Gaulden showed us his dream. So I think I'm gonna live my dream.
I think it's great. I think it's a great example of what we can do when we put our minds to it, and that no matter what the challenges are, there is never an excuse not to succeed. That many times we use excuses, and that becomes the detrimental event in our life. But when we don't use an excuse and we continue to strive and fight for what we believe, we can go anywhere we want. And being that his speech proved that today.
Thank you very much. Well, I think Michael's speech was very powerful. It shows us that determination is the way to get anything we want. We can't use or have any excuses in life, because if he was homeless, if he didn't have any light, he still did his homework, he still got all the work he did and needed to be done. And I believe that if we follow his way and have a certain determination and fire and power inside, we can go to college and accomplish anything that we want.
To recognize the changes in our community that have developed since the time of Martin Luther King, and to recognize how communities have come together in different organizations to build and strengthen the community, and to recognize different cultures, and to promote higher education for the youth, minorities in the community.
And compared to other speeches, how did it feel to have such a large room listening to your life story?
Felt pretty good. It's nice to know that you matter to somebody, you know. It felt pretty good. It's the biggest audience I've ever spoken in front of in my life, and I hope I did a pretty good job.
Do you think you did a pretty good job?
I think so.
Michael Gaulden, everybody.